We are back on the One-on-Ones podcast on the Field of 12 Media Network, presented by Bet River SportsBook. This is now episode 10 for the win. Episode 10 for the win. Discussing what's going on in college football. I am Harry Douglas, formerly known as HD. I'm joined by my co-host, Coty Sensabaugh. Coty, what's good, baby?
What's good, brother, man? I'm chilling. How you living? I see you, grinding, working as usual. The hardest working man in show business,
My guy.
Congratulations on your ceremony last week. For those of y'all that don't know and didn't get to see it, Harry got inducted into the Louisville Hall of Fame. So give it up for him, and that's a huge accomplishment, man, for sure. It's earned.
Appreciate it, bro.
And long overdue, for sure.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, and those clips you showed on your the clips you showed on your gram, man, you were busting Kentucky ass. That was all from one game.
200. Hit him for 200.
That was the game you went for 200.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it was a lot of clips.
Don't they ever disrespect me again. Hit him for 200.
It was a lot of clips versus those guys from Lexington, man. I was like, damn, you carving their ass up.
Oh, man, my dog. It was great, though, man. It was great to be able to have all my family go up there, my wife, my kids, my mom and dad, grandma, sister, my extended family. I was able to thank everybody, man, who helped me along the way, whether it was from janitors to people who cook food in cafeterias. All those people played a part in my success and our team's success. So I wanted to make sure the people in the offices, the media people, equipment staff, I wanted to make sure I thanked all those people, man. Because a lot of times, Coty, people think it's just, okay, the person who's out there in the football field, baseball field, basketball court, you know what I mean? Whatever sport it may be, those guys get the praise. Mm-hmm. But I like to let people know that if it wasn't for those people behind the scenes, that a lot of this stuff wouldn't even be possible, because those people sacrifice. People think we sacrifice. The people behind the scenes may sacrifice more than we do, because we're at the complex a lot, but they're at the complex more than we are, trying to make sure we're okay for every day. So I had to thank all of those people, man.
Shout out to all those people behind the scenes. And I think that says a lot about you, bro, because in that moment, the University of Louisville is highlighting you, and you took the time to shed light onto others that helped you during your journey and your process. And it's people that the outside doesn't recognize or doesn't acknowledge. So kudos to you to bringing that to the Jumbotron, man, because they're definitely needed, and nothing can be done without them, man. People don't realize how much of a role they play, getting the stuff together, keeping everything in alignment, and just allowing you to show up and be Harry Douglas and do what you do on the field, so Shout out to those individuals.
Appreciate it. Now let's get this show started, because Coty, for some reason, it seems like every week somebody falls or comes close to it.
Right.
So with that being said, I want to begin with the Oklahoma Sooners. Man,
yes,
and the Oklahoma Sooners this past week, they played Kansas at Kansas. Let me tell you how bad it is at Kansas, right? If I'm not mistaken, Kansas allowed everyone to come into the game free this week.
Wow.
Free. Think about that.
That's a hell of a marketing.
They allowed everybody to come out free.
Right.
But the Kansas Jayhawks didn't disappoint, man. They haven't been good all year, but the one game they were good in was this one against Oklahoma. And you look at how bad Oklahoma struggled in the first half, man. Their first three possessions were, I think it was punt, interception, and turnover on downs. And they only had 3 in the first half. So they went down in the first half 10-0. Now, the quarterback for Kansas, Jason Bean, and then the running back, Devin Neal, when you're talking about running a zone read to perfection, those guys ran the zone read to perfection in that game. And it actually exploited some things with the Oklahoma defense. But then coming out of halftime, well, we've been praising Caleb Williams. Coming out of halftime, Caleb Williams, I thought I had a Superman cape around here some damn well, but I think my kids didn't move it. Caleb Williams put on his little Superman cape, had his little muscles. He probably don't have many muscles right now because he's just a freshman, but he went to flexing his little muscles. And man, I wanted to see him in adverse situations. Not to say that I wanted to see him fail, but I wanted to see how he was going to handle an adverse situation, right?
Because you making it to the level that you made it at, you understand the importance of that, and it's going to be a lot of that. And in order to make it to that next level, you have to have that withal. So go ahead.
Yep, 100%. Now, OU coming out of halftime got the ball first. They went down and scored a touchdown. OU had 5 possessions in the second half. 5 times they scored touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you what I was most impressed with Caleb Williams. And this is why I think he has to be mentioned now, even though he hasn't played that much in the Heisman conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It was 4th and 3.
Mm-hmm.
4th and 3. They put the ball in his hands. Guess what the results were? A 40-yard touchdown run.
6.
They had 4th and 1 with 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the ball game. OU was up 28-23, and the ball was at OU's 46-yard line. This young man had the IQ, the football knowledge, the instincts to take the ball away from his running back. To take the ball from his running back who got stopped for a 2-yard loss at the time.
Right.
And to take the ball away from him and go get the first down. Man, Coty, I'm going to say it like this. You can't coach that shit.
Nope.
Some things you just can't coach.
No, sir.
Your football IQ, your instincts, understanding the game, living in the moment, doing what you got to do to propel your team to a victory. You can't coach it because if OU don't get that first down right there, they haven't really stopped. They didn't stop Kansas all game besides the one time, and I got to give a shout out to their defense because they did get a turnover that led to a touchdown in the second half for Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't get their stop right there, Kansas has the football at the OU 46-yard line going to score and win the football game. They're going to eat the clock up, and possibly their season is ruined.
We know what those odds lead to. We know what those odds lead to.
Yeah.
And like you said, Oklahoma didn't force Kansas to punt into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Kansas started out strong, 10-0. I felt like Oklahoma didn't realize what time the game was starting. That's the thing with sports. On any given day, that opposing team can bust your ass. And that's why the game is played between the lines. It doesn't matter what Vegas bets or what us people that watch in the media think. You have to get out there and play. And early on from Caleb Williams, it was good to see him struggle because if you watched Oklahoma up to this point since he's been in there, a lot of the plays they were making were 50-50 plays. It could have went either way.
Yep.
And more so than not, in the past, they was going Oklahoma's ways. And you seen this past weekend, the first half, those 50-50 jump balls that he was throwing, they was either incomplete or they was picked off by the opposing team.
And he had that interception, which the receiver was open at first. He didn't throw it
too late.
But then he tried to throw it late. But instead of trying to throw it late, he could have threw it to his running back right there in the flat, and his running back would have gained about 25, 30 yards. But that's stuff he can learn from.
The biggest thing for Caleb Williams moving forward is what a lot of young quarterbacks struggle with. And I would like you to touch on that after I finish this. But a lot of young quarterbacks, we see them going for the home run all the time and not taking what the defense gives them. What I love about Mac Jones in New England is he right now is at a 69 or a 70% completion rate. And it's because he's taking what the defense gives him. When you do that as a quarterback, you give your team a chance. Back to OU, I got to give it up to Caleb Williams because the balls, just being blunt with it, the balls that he showed in that fourth quarter is something that I haven't seen all year from any quarterback.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw a comparison out there, and I don't want people to look at the physical. I want people to look at the mindset and the dog that is inside these two young men. Josh Allen and Caleb Williams are similar to me because that play Caleb Williams made, Josh Allen would do that same thing for the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. If it comes down to nut cutting time and having to get a first down, Josh Allen will jump over a defender.
And we just seen it on Monday Night Football where he actually tried to jump over and get that first down because he understood he was trying to do everything for his team to get that win. So he's spot on.
Those two guys, the dog that they just have in them, they remind me like it's like they have the mentality that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant had on the basketball court. I don't give a damn what's going on. I'm going to figure out a way for my team to win. Yeah. And you've seen that the other day from that young man. And I just think the sky is the limit for him once he learns how to take what the defense gives him, because that's the only area he's lacking in. Everything else he has.
And it happened, and I seen it multiple times in that game where he's in the pocket just trying to look, instead of just throwing it away. And if one time he took a hit on the sideline, I was like, man, just throw the ball away. Listen, just throw it away. Live to play another down. It's okay. But you're right. Once he learns that, I don't know. Bro, that young man is special, man. It's you just can't coach some things, man.
And you got to give him credit because, and I can't knock him or be too judgmental of him because hell, there's NFL quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls and MVPs. Hell, look at Patrick Mahomes. That's his biggest
thing right now.
Same exact thing. And I think it kind of comes with that gunslinger mindset that like, yo, I can make any throw and any play, no matter the circumstances. But as a former receiver that played at the highest level and was damn successful, what is going through your mind when you know you have a quarterback that struggles with that? What's going through your head and how do you try to combat that?
I think sometimes everything is about delivery and the way you approach him about it. Like you can't, like I hate when I see receivers on TV, say a quarterback missed a throw or a quarterback throws an interception or something, and they doing all that. See, when I played, we would have fined your ass for that because you showing up the QB. Because number one, you don't know that he has 270, 280-pound men coming to sack him and all of the rest that he's under. So you never know what's going on back there in a quarterback's position.
Right.
So as a receiver, I don't mind a receiver going and talking to his QB about it. Hey, but it's all about delivery and how you deliver that message to him, because you never want him to feel like you're complaining. Or now I'm a believer in keeping it real, but it's a way to keep it real as well, right? And I use this analogy all the time. Never get tired of putting money in that bank. That's why Tom Brady's been so successful. That's why Teddy Bridgewater is starting right now over Drew Lock. Exactly. Because Teddy Bridgewater is not just going to try to gunsling it down the field. If their back is open in the flat, I'm going to take that back. If my check down is open over the ball, I'm going to take that check down. Mm-hmm. Right. And you see the great quarterbacks do it. Even Aaron Rodgers does it. And let me tell you what I'm surprised. I'm going to say surprised, but I'm happy for Lamar Jackson. Yes, that Monday Night Football game against the Colts, when they had to go down and tie that football game up. In a 2-minute drive, the most important plays are like the first 2 or 3 plays. Instead of trying to force that football down the field, he kept dumping it off to his running backs, getting positive yardage, first down here, first down there. And now you're in a groove, right? Once quarterbacks can understand that, their entire repertoire, their entire game will become better. But from a receiver to a quarterback's standpoint, everything is about delivery. It's times where I will go to Marcus Mariota or I will go to Matt Ryan and we'll talk about things, this and that. But you can't go to him, man, damn, I'm open, man. This is this. Come on, man. No, everything is about your delivery. You got to deliver a message right, and then have respect for your teammate as well. Because at the end of the day, he's in there with them flying bullets as well, trying to help y'all win. So it's all delivery for me.
And it's interesting that you brought that up because that used to be my biggest pet peeve when I was watching film on other DBs. When I was scouting the offense I would be playing, I always used to say, you can tell whether a secondary gets along with each other or not by the way they interact with each other on film. Mm-hmm. We all know blown coverages happen all the time. You try to limit them, but they're a part of the game. It's a part of it because those guys on offense get paid too, and they damn good. But it's like anytime I would see a defender get something completed on them and you see one of the other 11 guys throw up their hands or do a motion like that, you would be like, those guys don't get along because right, wrong, or indifferent. When a coverage is busted, 99% of the time, everybody on that field know whose fault it was and what happened. You don't have to show him up in front of everybody else to make it obvious. You know what I'm saying? So yep. I was always big on not showing your teammates up because we all men at the end of the day. And in that moment, that one little showing up can turn into something else that can lead to blow up. That can blow up the whole conglomerate. You know what I'm saying? So,
and as a receiver, I used to look for stuff like that. You know me, I was trying to look at an event. So one of my teammates hit a DB for a big thing. I'm gonna go to him. Hey, oh, we got them derailed. I'm gonna say it in front of everybody. Oh, they derailing. Oh, they not together. They not one unit. I'm walking back to the huddle. I'm yelling it. Because I want them to know, oh, I said, oh, you mad? You got beat, huh? Oh, that wasn't your fault. That was your boy fault, huh? It's all good. We know y'all not together anyway. We know y'all not cool.
And it's just that one little bit that can create that sense of doubt in one's mind that can sink the whole ship, man. And that's why it's a game of inches. Like all that little shit matters and can make a difference in winning or losing, because it's hard to win at these levels. Like Oklahoma is way more talented and better than Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma is way more talented and better than Kansas. But the fact that that game was close and it was a chance at the end, and Lincoln Riley said something in the presser that really stood out to me. And he said something in the sense of, we can finish with the best of them. That lets me know in his mind, no matter what, if we get it to the end and it's somewhat close, we have enough dogs. We have enough dogs that's going to pull us through. And you've seen that with Caleb Williams. And I think that's why that young man has took that team by the reins and has really controlled it, because he just has something different.
That it factor. He got it, man.
That he has that it factor that don't nobody else have, and those guys are just drawn to him. And that play that he made, taking it from the running back and getting the first down, will more than likely be a defining moment.
Bro, I never seen that shit in my life, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I've never seen that in my life, ever. I've never seen nothing like that in my life.
And that's probably, depending on where this season goes for them, it could probably end up being one of the greatest plays in OU history. You know what I'm saying?
Or college football too, though. If they go and make the college football playoffs, and Lord knows anything can happen once you get there, that could be a play that's in college football history. Just because he's instinctive and he has that it factor. Let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners at BetRivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with BetRivers yet, now's the time, because they're offering $250 match bonus for the first deposit. Now, what sets them apart is that they require just one play through to turn your bonus into cash money. With the new Rush Play Instant Approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, more reliable. With the football season heating up, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. If you have a gambling problem, please make sure you call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, I'm going to get to this next game, and man, it seems like every week somebody is losing, somebody is getting caught slipping. The Penn State Nittany Lions went down to Illinois, and this game here was hard to watch.
It was
because of simple fact. Now, this is one thing people got to understand about Big Ten football up north. This time of year right now, it's getting colder up there. It's getting cold. That's a nice little breeze. When you're watching the games, you're not gonna see much sun out. It's gonna look gloomy. And Penn State defensively allowed 365 yards, bro, to two running backs, Chase Brown and Joshua McCray.
Man.
That was insane to me. The quarterback for Illinois only had 38 yards passing. But let me tell you this, Penn State defense, because I can get on them all day for allowing that many rushing yards. Penn State in their defense gave the offense 3 turnovers. They gave them 3 turnovers.
Right.
And that offense of Penn State only got 3 points off of those turnovers. And when I'm watching this game, and I know Sean Clifford was back, their quarterback, he didn't look healthy. Right. He didn't look healthy at all. And then not only that, they're struggling to get their best guy the ball, which is, I don't understand it. Like, I would be binge trying to get Jahan Dotson the football any way I can, because I just think he's one of the better receivers in college football, period. But I got to give credit to Illinois' defense, because, Coty, what y'all call it? Sudden change. Them boys only gave up 3 points in sudden change.
That's huge. That's unheard of.
Teams in the nation.
That's unheard of. 3 points from 3 turnovers. That's unheard of. That's losing football if you Penn State. You know what I'm saying? That's losing.
I tell people, like, you can be mad at the defense, but at the end of the day, the defense held them to 18 points before they won in overtime, right? And they gave up a lot of yards rushing, but they gave you 3 turnovers. Like, all you had to do was score 19 points. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it, but The thing I want to harp on in this game, though, is these overtime rules, because these overtime rules, and this is the first time we had it come up like this, I think to this extent this year, are horrible. They're horrible. In the first overtime, both teams
Painful
get
to
the football.
watch.
Yeah, both teams get the football at the 25-yard line. If both teams score a touchdown, they get a chance to kick the extra point. Both teams got to kick a field goal, then they go to the second. In the second overtime, if you score a touchdown first, you have to go for two. And if the opposing team score a touchdown, you got to go for two. Or if you kick a field goal, you kick a field goal. Now it goes to a third. Now the third overtime is where this thing gets interesting. Instead of starting at the 25-yard line, both teams compete for a 2-point conversion. I said, so in my eyes, I'm saying, damn, I just fought this entire game for an opponent to get the football at the 2-yard line. And I understand that we get the football at the same distance, right? Mm-hmm. But still, that I don't like that, because I like when teams have to earn to score a touchdown, earn to get in that end zone, not just start at the 2 or 3 yard line and have a close opportunity. Right. So I'm hoping after this year, and they say they did it for player safety, but the game went into 9 damn overtimes. Like,
there's nothing safe about that.
And I think that was boring football. I didn't want to see both teams get the ball at 2 or 3 yard line and try to get a 2-point conversion. What's exciting to me is both of these teams get the ball at 25-yard line, and I need to see if they can't get in the end zone, can this kicker make a kick? And if not, the other team got a better chance of winning the football game. That's what I want to see.
Right.
So that overtime. So how you feel about it, bro?
I think it was painful to watch. They definitely got to fix something about those overtime rules. I mean, I say you adopt the NFL rule.
Yeah.
I think, that's about as simple as it can get. I think the NFL has it laid out perfectly, and I think it's something that they should adopt. Really, all I have to say about this game is congrats to Illinois' coach on his 100th win, which is a huge milestone.
Coach Belima.
But we really I gotta bring up how, I feel like I've been hard specifically on the ACC, because I'll say, 1 week they'll look amazing, then the next week they'll look awful. But Penn State going into this game were 23.5-point favorites. They didn't even score that many points in the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we obviously understand from some of these lines that Vegas don't know what the hell they talking about. But the fact that you were a 3-touchdown favorite and you lose, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially how they lost. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, their defense, as a former defensive player, any game that I've been in where I've been a part of a team that's turned the ball over 3 times, if you don't win that game, you feel like it was a waste, because it's hard to create 3 turnovers at any level. You know what I'm saying? Let alone at a Power 5 level against a top team, or as a top team, a conference game, because we know how important the conference games is. Conference games is somewhat like NFL division games. Yeah. You got to throw out the record and all that shit and just go in between the lines and play, because it's a lot of pride involved. So I hate seeing that for James Franklin. I think he's a good coach, but they got to fix some things up there. Like you said, they got to figure out how to get their best player the ball. As a coach, there should be no issue with
number one thing.
There should be no issue of finding ways to get your best player the ball. You should be finding ways to get it to him less, to distribute his load so he doesn't burn out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, yeah, it was a painful game to watch, though. I can only imagine.
But shout out to Illinois, because we got to give them their credit. They showed up and played, and they won the game. Now the next game I want to touch on is the Oklahoma State versus Iowa State. Now Oklahoma State came in this game undefeated. Iowa State defeated them, but it's only one little incident I want to touch on in this game. Now Iowa State was down 14-7 in the third quarter, right, to Oklahoma State. Their number 1 receiver, Xavier Hutchinson, runs a hell of a slant route. Boom, big body guy, boom, come in that thing and catch it. The DB falls down, and this young man goes for a 54-yard touchdown. Basically walks in the end zone, may have kicked his legs up a tiny bit, and they throw a flag, right? Throw a flag. Referees calls on sportsmanlike conduct, so the ball goes back to like the 18-yard line. One of the craziest calls, Coty, I think I've seen in my damn life. One of the craziest calls I've seen in my life. And head coach Matt Campbell for Iowa State, he goes crazy. I mean,
rightfully so.
You can read his lips and tell every curse word that he was saying, every last one of them. And you know what I sat there and said to myself? You have every right to say every last one of them to every last referee that you see out there on that football field. And one time I read his lips, he was like, who threw that flag? And for me, this game is built off emotions, right? This game is built off emotions, man. And to tell a young man or somebody who do this for a living to not show emotions, that's counterproductive and goes against things that people preach when it comes to the game. Now, it's some things that you just can't do, and we understand that, and they understand that. But that young man, Xavier, and luckily for Iowa State, they still won the game. And on that same drive, Xavier Hutchinson caught a touchdown anyway. Because if they would have lost that game, boy, I would have been nervous for those referees and what Matt Campbell would have had to say. What did you think about that? And what do you think about, just not at the college level, what do you think about these unsportsmanlike conducts, man, like in college and the NFL level?
First of all, talking about the college one that we've seen with Hutchinson, I still don't know what the hell the ref seen.
I don't know what he did either.
I promise you, I was watching it before we came on air today, trying to get some more clarity. Like, because watching it over and over and over, all I seen the young man do was look back. But as a receiver, how many times have you seen a receiver or anybody that's about to score a touchdown start bullshitting and somebody come up behind them and strip them?
Yep.
All I seen the young man do was look back to make sure no one was behind him, to make sure he had the touchdown secured. So what that referee called, come out and say why he called that referee? Did he ever come out and say anything about the call?
Think so. I didn't see anything on it.
See, that's unacceptable to me, because players after the game have to answer to certain things. Coaches after the game have to answer to certain things. Someone needs to answer to that. It didn't come to bite nobody or hurt nobody, but the fact
it could have.
The fact they made that call, that could have been detrimental to that game.
Yep.
So I still don't know what that ref seen. And then on the NFL level, I hate it.
It's a damn joke now, boy.
I hate it because it's like, you did it. I did it. This arena that you're stepping in, anybody just can't walk into this. You earned this. There's no amount of money you can pay to get on this field and do what these guys do. You have to earn it over a long time of putting in work. The fact that you want these guys to show all of this emotion, except in this sense, it's impossible. The game is full of emotion. Yep. You know how hard it is to score a touchdown. You know how hard it is to get a first down. I know how hard it is to get
how hard it is to make a damn play.
It's hard. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you're not allowing these young men to show emotion, when in every other sense you want the emotion, you love it. Now, if somebody's blatantly disrespecting somebody, that's different. That's exactly understandable. But just having fun and celebrating, and you should celebrate. That's what this is about. It's about passion. It's about energy. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're trying to tell that and close that off, I hate it, because they're trying to turn these men into robots.
There you go.
And you know how much emotion goes into it. How do you feel about it? I hate it.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it 100%, because you know what? If I was still playing now, I would get so many penalties, and bro, I would get fined so much, because I played with emotions. Not everybody can't play with emotions, right? But some people do. I was one of those players. I played with emotions. I played with passion, and that was just me. So, and I love to talk junk to DBs, and not to demean them in anything, but just, that's just part of the game.
In that moment, it's a part of it.
So I'm like, God, Lee, would I had even survived during these times? Because you can't do this, you can't do that. It's too many people trying to grab control over the game, to me, instead of just letting the game be what the game is, right? Be what the game we know. Now, I'm all for player safety, but that has nothing to do with player safety in my eyes.
Right. I think I got out, and you would probably say the same thing. I think I got out at the perfect time.
The right time.
They have so much shit going on right now that you have to think about in the lines that don't have nothing to do with the game, that it's like, damn, not only do I have to go out there and worry about this opposing receiver, what coverage I'm in, what's the check, what's the down and distance, what's his alignment from the hash. I have to think about not showing too much emotion after I make a play. Like, that's just too much mental going on that doesn't have anything to do with the game. And it's unfortunate because most players that fans fall in love with, it comes from their emotion. They feel connected to that emotion and that energy. And it's like you're trying to take that away from the game. And I don't know what they're trying to turn it into, but it's I don't know, but it's mind-boggling for sure.
Yeah, hopefully they get it together. Hey, ref, stop trying to be a part of the game. It's not about you. It's not about you.
You got the best seat. You got the best seat in town. Do your job and just stay out the way.
And you have, listen, and you have some great ones. I have some that's been friends with my father for a long time that ref games that I've had in the NFL. Like, you have some people who do a great job, but then you have those ones, man, that just, they want the attention on them, and that's not what the game is about. People not paying money to go see ref throw fucking flags all day long, man. Like, come on. Like, you know how like you in them team meetings and your coaches always tell you like, hey, this is the crew we got today. And you know, certain groups like, hell, I can't even be myself this game.
Right. It's like when Suge said, man, if you don't want to have your producer all in the video dancing.
All in the video.
That's how some of these refs are. It's like they trying to create a different lane for themselves outside of just being an official. Like not understanding that, like, yo, if you just do your job and you great at it, you're gonna keep rising in that industry. But shout out to the good ones, because there is a lot of good ones out there. But y'all clowns, y'all need to cut that shit out, man, and get out the way.
Sure enough.
Support for today's episodes of One-on-Ones comes from Manscape, the world leader in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped has just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. It's a sleek, well-designed, and precision-engineered trimmer. And I got to tell you, I was blown away by the performance. You're speaking to a guy who has had trouble keeping his grass mowed, if you understand what I'm saying. So with that being said, I used the Lawnmower 4.0 and it changed my life. Get yours now. The way that Manscaped engineered the ultimate grown and body trimmer was simple. They focused on intelligent functionality and providing a comfortable grooming experience. The Lawnmower 4.0 is developed with their trademark skin-safe technology, which includes a cutting-edge ceramic blade that reduces snags and nicks. You need to be confident in any tool you use on your family jewels. The Lawnmower 4.0 was developed with their trademark skin-safe technology, which includes a cutting-edge ceramic blade that reduces snags and nicks. You need to be confident in any tool you use on your family jewels. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight, an attachment that allows you to change the length of your trim, and a wireless charger. Most importantly, you want to make sure you're not using the same trimmer on your nuts and your face, because that's just nasty. So head on over to manscaped.com, where you will get 20% off and free shipping with the code ONE. That's ONE, 1. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com if you use the code ONE. As a user of the Lawnmower 4.0, trust me when I say your balls will thank you.
Now, man, believe it or not, the ACC still has an undefeated team, believe it or not, that will happen to be the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And, man, I never thought in my lifetime I would say that I never thought I'd be talking about a shootout between whoever in Army. Never now. And I got to give Army some respect, because the hardest I've ever been hit in my life, Coty, was when I played Army my freshman year, when they decided to put me on kickoff team, and I'm running down there like, damn, okay, no one's blocking me.
You thought shit was sweet.
What? And I turn around and go make a tackle. Bam, I get ear hole. Yeah. And I'm like, man, where am I at right now?
And give the listeners an understanding of what years you was doing this, because it's a different time.
This was 2004. So I redshirted my first year, 2004. So like there's a lot of things that refs ain't looking for you getting no ear hold and all this. You can crack back on people. That's back when you can really deplete somebody. And that's literally what happened to me. I got depleted, man. I got cracked back on, and I was seeing Tweety Bird, all kind of little stars, Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I was seeing everything.
Yeah, man.
But the 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 respect that I have for Army, because those young men go out there and they try to do things the right way, play in and play out, not to mention what they do for our country.
Yes,
Now,
sir. Salute.
this game is a little weird because the total points in this game was 126.
Mm.
Now, you had 638 total yards from Wake Forest, 595 total yards from Army.
Crazy.
Wake Forest was 87% on third downs. Army was 56% on third downs. Wake Forest had 458 yards passing. Army had 416 yards rushing. But the difference makers in this game, Army threw a pick six, and then they fumbled on another possession, and Wake Forest went down and scored a touchdown. But for me, you know them guys that we talk about every week for Wake Forest. They don't do nothing but show up and show out. Number one, quarterback Sam Hartman, 23 for 29, 458 yards, 5 touchdowns. The young man is balling. Their star receiver, Ja'Cory Roberson, 8 receptions, 157 yards, 3 tubs. And then A.T. Perry, the other receiver who's really can't come on this year and stepped up to make a nice duo with Ja'Cory Roberson, 6 receptions, 146 yards, a touchdown. Man, listen, I'm not worried about Wake Forest's offense, but I am worried about their defense because it seemed like week in and week out, we keep talking about them being in the shootout. And if they want to remain unbeaten, they're going to have to find something defensively to stop teams, because to give up 50-plus points to Army is just not good. It's not impressive. Their offense can sling it with the best of them. They have 2 solid running backs as well. But their defense, their defense is non-existent.
Man, it's like it's like the offense, every offense that they're playing against is out there doing routes on air and runs. You know, like anytime you give up over 400 yards on the ground, that's crazy. Like, and it's wild because their offense is so good, but at some point, you're gonna play Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? If you're giving up 50 against Army, I hate to see what you're gonna give up against those guys, because those guys coming out of Pittsburgh is the real deal. But you know what? I was happy to see Wake Forest win the game because they're the ACC. But Army, and you say this every single week, and I gotta steal it from you this week. They tried to get cute, trying to do that little cute shit.
Yep.
They was right in the game when they needed to be, and for some reason or another, they tried to run a fake play with a quarterback that hasn't thrown a pass all. Let me make sure. They try to do it with a quarterback that hasn't thrown a pass all year, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not all year, it was all game. And it got intercepted and returned for 6. You can't make those type of mistakes with those guys.
Nope.
And it goes back to what we was talking about with Penn State. I guarantee you, if Wake Forest defense could give Wake Forest offense 3 turnovers per game, good luck. You know what I'm saying? So
you won't beat them.
Taking it back to what we was talking about earlier, that's the importance of turnovers and just stopping somebody. Like, if Wake Forest gets any consistency on defense, they are going to be a problem. Well, hell, they already a problem, but they can be like legit because their quarterback, he's just steady and consistent. He takes what you give him, but he'll also take your ass up top if you're not careful with those receivers. So I love watching Wake Forest play. Great team. I just need the defense. I just need the defense to get with the program, man.
100%.
It's like you're going against that offense every single week. So
every single
you have no reason but not to improve. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a corner for Wake Forest, I'm loving coming to practice every single week, because those guys that you're facing every day in practice, it's going to be hard to see anything better than that come Saturday. So you should be prepared every single week to go up against whoever you play.
Now, you know I've been waiting for this one.
Man. That's why I wore this shirt today, man.
No, I love about that. I don't know what you're talking about, Cody. Now, Now you mentioned Pittsburgh. I couldn't wait to get to him. I couldn't wait to get to him. You mentioned Pittsburgh. All Pittsburgh went and did this week was defeat Clemson. Kenny Pickett gets the last laugh. That's what I have on my notes. Kenny Pickett gets the last laugh. Young man threw for 302 yards and 2 touchdowns. Man, and I'll be honest with you, I was literally watching this game before we came on here. I had watched it once, but I was rewatching it again. And man, bro, and some of it I can put on DJ Uwangalele, and then some of it I can put on running backs and receivers. Bro, he had a wide open pass. A guy in the slot to the left, it was in the boundary. They ran a double move. Hit him one-on-one with the safety. He hit him, and for some reason, instead of just throwing the ball upfield, DJ threw it outside. So the guy had to turn his body, and then it allowed the defender to come back and break it up, which should have been an easy touchdown. He had another one where he threw a football down the middle of the field to Will Shipley, wide open. Will Shipley just drops the ball. And let me tell you why that one was important. Clemson was up 7-0.
Yeah.
Catch that ball, they go up 14-0. They don't get the first down. They don't get the first down on that possession. Guess what Pittsburgh do? Go down and tie the ball game up 7-7. Now the entire ball game has changed. And then on the interception, I'm seeing this continuous pattern from Justin Ross. And I know he's coming back from a neck injury he had last year, but he throws a fade to Justin Ross down by the end zone, and Justin Ross lets the DB muscle him out the way for the football. Can't let that happen, man. I'm seeing that too many times when I'm watching Clemson film from him. Right. I'm seeing that entirely too many times. But I think from that moment when Pittsburgh scored that touchdown, they kind of controlled the game. They actually had the football 12 more minutes than Clemson did.
Yes, sir.
That defense forced 2 turnovers, and they came up big. Pittsburgh was 10 for 19 on 3rd downs. But Pittsburgh won the game, but Clemson contribute to the win. You know what I mean? Because they had situations where they could have hit things, they could have got things, and it was just poor execution on the players' behalf.
And that's where we step in and truly take some of the blame off the coaching staff, because I know, like Tony Elliott, for instance, I know he's getting a lot of slack, rightfully so, because the offense hasn't been nowhere near expectations. But like at some point, the guys in between the lines have to make the plays. You know what I'm saying? And anybody who's watched Clemson all year from an offensive perspective understands that there have been numerous plays to be made that haven't been made. And that's been the difference in their games. They haven't made the plays needed to win. And it's unfortunate because you see glimpses and flashes every once in a while. I think what Clemson has to go into this offseason, obviously finishing this season, but going to this offseason, they have to figure out what their identity is going to be. They have no identity on offense. It's literally like they're flipping a coin, or they're clicking X, triangle, circle, or square on a joystick, trying to come up with something,
Video games.
Playing a video game. There was one interception that I wanted to talk to you about, because as a defender, I see it one way, but I would like to hear your perspective as an offensive player, because I'm sure you've run this play before. The shovel pass where DJ pitched it and the guy from Pitt caught it and ran the other way for 6. What is he looking at, and what should he be looking at to not allow that to happen? What went wrong with that play? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a play that you see run universally.
And it's kind of tough, because usually that play is moving like this. And I've been the guy who caught the shovel, and I've been the guy who's the misdirection guy on the shovel pass. Right. You know what I mean? So it's kind of happening so fast. And when you go to think about everything that DJ's probably thinking about, hey, let me make this play. Hey, let me get this off. Hey, this can spark us, right? He's probably not thinking about the bad part that can happen on that play. You know what I mean? And and I'm not saying that coaches didn't go over this with him as well. I don't know if they did or not. But when you have certain plays like that are different from other ones, you
Right.
got to go through the pros and the cons. What can potentially happen? Okay, if they get penetration on this, what am I supposed to do? This is what you're supposed to do, DJ. You know what I mean? Just eat it. You know what I mean? Throw it in the ground. You know what I mean? But I don't know if they went over those things. But those are things like that we used to go through in our meetings. Hey, Matt, if they get penetration on this shovel pass, eat it, throw it in the ground. You know how quarterbacks throw it in the ground on screens, right? You just throw it in the ground. But those type of plays happen so fast that it's unless you emphasize it and go through these things, he's gonna throw that shovel pass 100% of the time.
And by no means, for our listeners, am I taking any credit away from the young man from Pittsburgh who made that play, because that was a hell of a play. It's just a play that I haven't seen many guys intercept that, let alone intercept that and take it the other way for 6.
Yeah.
So that was a hell of a play by that man. But being honest, I wasn't surprised. I was hoping Clemson would win the game, but I knew they had their hands full. Anybody that's watched Pitt this year knows what they're coming with.
Now, you know I'm not letting you off the hook like that now. You know,
Hold on.
No. Who did you pick in the game? Who did you pick in the game last week? And I looked at you. I did this right here. I was like,
you know, I picked Clemson, and I'm gonna continue picking them. Just off
my dog. Hey, I respect it though.
You got to give it up to Kenny Pickett, man, because he is a hell of a player. Kudos to him for becoming the all-time completions leader in Pitt history. But, man, he's a hell of a quarterback. And I think what makes him so great is the way he distributes the ball to everybody. He makes everybody feel a part of the team, and he's allowing everybody to eat. And he's taking what the defense gives him. That's the key to his success. He is taking what the defense gives him, because speaking from a defender's perspective, every single coverage, every single call has a weakness. You have to give up something. And he is finding out what the weakness is or what the defense is giving up in every single coverage, and he is capitalizing on it. If it's for 4 yards or if it's for 10 plus yards and everything in between. He is finding that weakness and he is attacking it, and he is efficient as they come. He's like a electric vehicle.
I agree with you.
He is the real deal, man. It's a sight to see watching him play.
So while we on Kenny Pickett, man, I wanted to have a little fun with this thing today too. So, all right, I wanted to have a little Heisman talk, because right now I think this is one of the most open Heisman races I've seen in a while.
Right.
But which player, I'm going to name you some player, which player will have a monster game this weekend to improve their Heisman case? I have A, Matt Corral, number 10 Ole Miss faces number 18 Auburn. Kenneth Walker III, number 8 Michigan State faces number 6 Michigan. Right now, Kenneth Walker III is the second in rushing in college football right now. CJ Stroud, quarterback of Ohio State, number 5 Ohio State plays number 20 Penn State. All they offense do is put up points and yards week in and week out. D, Kenny Pickett, he's 9th in college football in passing yards. Caleb Williams, a guy who's a late bloomer, but has just been phenomenal for Oklahoma and basically have saved their season, the Texas game and against Kansas. And last one I got is Bryce Young. Now, Bryce Young has an off week. He's 6th in passing yards right now, so I'm going to exclude Bryce Young just because he has an off week. But which one of those 3 guys do you think can have a monster game and improve their Heisman case?
I honestly got to go with Caleb Williams, man. I think his confidence is so high. He just has a different bounce in his step that he's feeling invincible, man, because he's figuring it out. And he had this confidence stepping into the arena, but now that he started having success, it's only going to continue to rise. And those guys believe in him, man. Like, when your team believes in you as a true freshman, like, that tells me everything I need to know about you. So I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. How about you?
All right, so for me, I love your pick. I'm going to go non-traditional, though.
Right.
I'm going to go with the running back, Kenneth Walker III, simply because Michigan State, it's not like we see Michigan State in the top 10 every year. right? And they have that premier matchup, and I actually get to go to game day this week.
Okay.
That's my assignment. I get to do countdown to college game day, so I'm traveling with game day this week up in East Lansing, Michigan. It's gonna be cold. I'm gonna have my big coat. Don't you worry though.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to seeing Kenneth Walker III, how he's gonna fare against the Michigan defense right now, who is second in points allowed, who has been playing some nice football this year, led by defensive end Aiden Hutchinson and another one, Ojabo. I want to see how he's going to fare up in that offensive line against that Michigan front. Right. And if he can have a good game and they win this game, I think it improves his chances tremendously in the Heisman race.
I agree with you. That'll be one to see. And Harbaugh needs his victory.
Oh, yeah. He needs it.
He needs it with Michigan for sure.
Now, the last thing we got for y'all, we got a little treat for y'all, right? Miami got a huge win over NC State last week.
Shout out to Miami, man. We've been down. Shout out to Tyler Van Dyke. He was talking shit leading up to the game, and boy, did he deliver, man. Shout out to him.
Right, and that leads us into the game they have this week versus number 17, Pitt. Now, Pitt is favored in this game by 11.5, according to Bet River Sportsbook, and the over in this game is 61.5. So, Coty, who do you have in this game? Pittsburgh, and do you think they can cover? And do you like them over or under, though?
I'm going with Pitt, and I'm going I expect them not only to cover it, but to go over it, because I don't see Miami playing this way 2 weeks in a row. They haven't given me any inclination that they can do that, so they got to show me. So I'm going with Pitt over.
Man, I'm going against the grain, man. I'm just playing. I ain't going with no damn Miami. Miami not gonna make a fool out of me. They done made a fool out of me too many times this year. Right. I'm going with the Pitt Panthers because of their veteran quarterback Kenny Pickett and their star receiver Addison. I'm going with Pittsburgh. I actually think they're gonna cover the 11.5, and I think I'm gonna go with the over as well, because I think it's a possibility that they can put up 50 plus points, 40 something points, and Miami can score some points in junk time, and the over will be hit there. So I'm gonna go with Pitt. It's at Pittsburgh, so it's gonna be cold. You know,
another reason.
Listen, I used to love playing against like teams from Florida. Like when we used to play South Florida, when we was in the same country with South Florida, they used to come up. Boy, them boys worried about, man, how y'all boys out here with no sleeves
on? About a heater until the very last minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
I said, oh, we got them. I said, I used to love when they scheduled them Florida teams late in the year when I was in Louisville.
I was in Pittsburgh for 2 years, and that weather is different. That weather is different in late October, November, especially compared to South Florida. So
yes, sir.
I expect that to fare well for Pittsburgh, and also something that Miami has to be prepared for is that ground going to be hard. That grass at that stadium ain't going to be as green as it is.
Put them screw-ins in. Yeah, put them screw-ins.
For sure, because that ground is going to be hard as concrete, for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's episode 10. I'm Harry Douglas. That's Coty Sensabaugh. Make sure y'all join us next week for episode 11 as we give y'all coverage from college football all around. Peace.
Love y'all. Peace.